Okay, guys, let's start. Well, today, as you know, is our first official class. So we will talk about, not specifically about Cambridge platform because we don't have for this week any activity to deliver or to do today for this week. So the idea of this first official class is to give you well, the idea from me, okay, because this is not in the program or in the syllabus of the subject, is because I want to give you some advices for self-learning. So today is going to be something like to give you some basis in order for you to improve your English. So today is our session 2, and we are in week 2. As you already know, we are in English 4, and let's begin. Okay, so first of all, the first thing that we need to do is to talk about the chronogram for today, or the program for today's session. We will talk about our goal for today's session. Then we will talk about the last week topic that we review in the last session. We will have a practical activity. As I told you before, this is not exactly as practical as a practical activity, but a review or a general review for self-learning strategies. Then we will have a space for doubts, specifically for the video that we will watch today. Then we will talk about next week activities. Of course, this is going to be our first official work for the subject. Then we will have a summing up for the next week activities, and then we will have again a space for doubts. If anything remains unclear or something, we're going to have another space of doubts. Okay, so let's start. The goal for today's session: we will discuss some of the strategies that can help you to improve your second language learning. Usually, when I start these modules or these courses, I like to talk about this because I think it's important for us to at least to have in mind the strategies that we need to implement during the course and obviously during our life for improving our learning in English, in Spanish, in Arabic, in French, in whatever you think about, you need to have strategies for self-learning, especially in a career like this one. Okay, so we will focus on the question: what are the strategies that have helped you to improve your English performance? In this case, I would like you to think about the strategies that you used to improve your English, and also the strategies that you use not only to improve your English, but also the strategies that you usually do in your daily life to gain more vocabulary, to gain fluency in speaking or while speaking. Obviously, if you have any other strategy from other language, I don't know, like French, you can also talk about that. So today, this is going to be our general framework to 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 begin with the course. Okay. So last week, what did we do last week? Well, the main points that we talked about in the previous session, first of all, was my presentation because I told you who I am, which is my major, my background in general. I mean, especially in my work, what I have done, um, related not only with the subject but also with my career. Then we talked about the subject, which is English 4, and I was telling you that the main purpose or the goal for this course is for you to gain the B2 level of English. And also, I was telling you that even when this is the goal of the general or the general goal of the course, you need to be careful because the goal is going to be achieved only if you work, I don't know, extra time with English. Because of course, Cambridge platform is going to give you the base, well, not the basis, but the basis. Sorry, but the general knowledge that you need in order to gain a B2 level. But as I also like to say to my students, remember that English or any language that you want to learn requires a lot of job, a lot of extra job. Remember that we have four abilities: writing, speaking, listening, and writing, listening. Well, let me just think again. Listening, speaking, writing, and reading. Okay, so we have four skills, or four general skills or phases of the language in which we need to improve our performance. So usually when we are thinking, or when we are thinking about a language, we need to focus our attention in those four skills. Okay, so be careful with that, because as I told you before, this course is going to give you the basis, or the general grammatical knowledge that you need in order to gain a B2 level of English. But you need to work extra time to gain that level. Okay. Then we were talking about the rules, about the communication channels and the response time for the activities, and also for the messages that you sent to me or to the coordinator. And I was telling you that communication channels are only the official account or the official email and a Blackboard. Okay, you only have the chance, or you must send any doubt that you have about the course, or about the homework, or about if you have any problem, anything like that. You should send a message through those channels, the official email account, or Blackboard, or through Blackboard. Also, it's important for you to remember that we have a limited, how can I say this? We have a limited view, or a limited knowledge about the platform. If you have a specific problem with the platform, if your code doesn't work, if the page is down, or whatever you have with or whatever problem you have with the platform, remember that in some cases we don't have any resource to solve the problem. If in some cases we need to go to in this case we don't have selling. I don't remember the name of the platform in which you write the ticket in order to communicate the problems. But whichever platform or whichever link you need to use this course to let know the people who needs to know any problem that you have in the platform. Remember that the coordinator and me, we don't have all the answers. Okay, so you need to be careful with that. We can solve some problems, I don't know, with assistance, with scoring or something like that, very basic stuff. But if you want to go deeper with the problems in the platform, or with Blackboard, if you don't have access, whatever, you need to send the ticket to the correspondent platform. Response times, we were talking about that we have some due date in order to answer not only your messages, but also to score the activities that I need to score. And I was also telling you that even when we have that time, in many cases, probably is going to be a little bit more a wide range of time for me to answer your messages. And also, I was telling you that if your message is very important, and you notice that I haven't replied your message between the 24 hours that I have, remember that you can resend the message or for me to get the message again, and answer your question. Because sometimes, as I told you before, I open the message, but I forget to answer. So be careful with that. If you don't receive the answer, remember that you have the option to resend the message, so I can see it again. Then we were talking about the due dates for the syllabus. which is the chronogram for the entire course. And we were talking about that every unit is going to be, or the due date for every unit is on the next Monday. For example, for this first unit, our due date is this Monday, 24th, at 3 a.m. So be careful with that. And I was also telling you that only we have a how can I say this? We have how can I say this? Even in Spanish, I don't remember. We have this special due date for the final week, in which you need to send your answers and all the things that you need to do on Friday, the last Friday of April, which is 25, if I'm not wrong. You have that day as the due date of the final unit, and it's going to be on Friday, and it's going to be at midnight. Okay, so be careful with that. All the other units before the unit 6, which is the last one, unit 6 and unit 5, needs to be delivered on Monday at 3 a.m. Then we were talking about a concept which is very important. No, I was telling you that probably not for us, because we don't need to deliver or to submit any essay, any summary, any written work. So academic integrity doesn't apply exactly like that for us, because in this case we don't need to give any reference for the homework. We don't need to cite in APA or anything like that. So in this case, academic integrity doesn't apply as in the other theoretical subjects. In this case, academic integrity works just for the Cambridge platform. Remember that Cambridge platform, or the information in Cambridge platform, is just for you and for the course, because we don't have the copyright. Okay, that material belongs to Cambridge, of course, to the university, to Cambridge University, and we are only using that material in order or for you to advance in your English learning. So be careful with that. Academic integrity refers in this case to that thing. Don't share the information. If you are going to make a summary of the information that you find in the platform, remember that that information is only for you. You don't need to share it, or you shouldn't share it, or you mustn't share it, okay? Because that's not correct, because we don't have the copyright. So be careful with that. So in general, this was our discussion in the previous session. All right. So for today, I want you to introduce yourself, because we didn't do this in the previous session. In this case, don't worry. I'm talking in English because this is an obligation. I believe that in this part of our journey, even if you don't understand everything, at least I hope that you do, but if not, don't worry. I need to speak in English. And as I told you before, my English is not a native English, because I'm not a North American people or a British person. So my English is not a native English, but I am trying to do my best. So uh, what I was about to say is that I want you to present yourself, to introduce yourself to the class. Give me your name, your city, your age, your career, and something you want to share with the class. It doesn't need to be in English. You can do this in Spanish if you feel comfortable. But at this point, I would like you to use English. But you decide, okay? We are only, or you are only four people in this class. I was expecting more students, but okay, I believe that this is okay, because we are in the fourth course of English. So I think you are used to the how can I say this? You are used to the dynamic of the course, and you know that this is not or you don't have the obligation to be here. So I think that's why we are only four people, but that's okay. So let's start with the presentations. Ana Cristina, could you please introduce yourself to the class?
Oh yeah, sorry. Um, My name is Ana Cristina, but I like being called Annie.
Annie,
Um,
okay.
I live in Guatabampo, Sonora.
Okay, you are in the Sonora. You are
Uh-huh.
from Sonora.
I'm 25 years old. My career is um lenguas extranjeras.
Foreign languages.
Um, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, I like to do my makeup and I like taking photographs, well,
Okay.
pictures, and I like coloring books and listening to music.
Okay.
And
Do you have any other career, or this is your first career?
no, this is my first.
Your first career. Okay. Do you have any
Yeah.
special interest in foreign languages, or what do you like to do when you finish your major?
Mm, I would like to work in um I don't know, maybe at an airport or something like that.
Okay. So you would like to work in tourism?
Mm?
You like to, or you would like to work in tourism, in turismo?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Ana Cristina. Damaris, could you please introduce
Mm-hmm.
yourself to the class? I don't know if you have your microphone to share something with the class. Well, you need to give me your name, which obviously is Damaris. Where are you from? Your age, your career, if you have any other besides this one, or if you want to share something to the class, I don't know, a hobby, anything you like to share with the class. Could you please tell us something? If you can use your microphone, it's going to be good for us because I want to know your voice. Okay. Okay, Josue. In a moment, I would answer your question, but in general, remember that units are scored automatically. Okay, so the score that you have there is just for the things or the questions that the platform evaluates automatically. Okay, I have to do a scoring, or I have to score some exercises. Specifically, I need to score a reading and speaking activities. Okay, so the score that you have there, because you have already finished the unit one, the score that you have there is the score of the questions that the Cambridge platform evaluates automatically. Okay, but there is still missing there are still missing my manual evaluation. Okay, there is still missing my manual evaluation for the other answers, which are speaking and written activities. Okay, okay, Damaris, don't worry. Josue, help me with your presentation. I remember you from the previous course, but help us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, all right. Thanks. Well, my full name is Josue Gutierrez Gonzalez.
Mhm.
I live in New Laredo or Nuevo
Okay.
Laredo. Um, I am 20 years old. I study foreign languages and something I can share. Oh yeah.
A
Sometimes
hobby,
I like to draw digitally.
digital what?
Whatever.
Okay, you like to draw a digital, I don't know. Um, I mean, you liked to write in digital devices?
No, just draw.
Okay. Do you have any other career, or are you working in somewhere or specifically, or anything like that?
About what I draw, you're asking.
No, no, no. If you are working right now,
No,
si estás trabajando en estos momentos en algún lugar,
no.
¿no? Another thing, what would you like to do after finishing this major or your major in foreign languages? What is your goal? Which one is your goal for you studying this career?
Honestly, because I like the language, English language. I
Okay.
mean,
But at the end, I mean, would you like to work in some place in a specific or anything at the end of the career?
well, I'm gonna to be honest. I use English language in my daily life, like in my social
Hmm.
media.
Hmm. Okay, so you would like to continue doing that.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Josue. Junwen, could you please help us with your presentation? I also remember that
Okay.
I probably we were working in the previous course. Help me, please. Name, city, age, career, and something you want to share with the class.
Okay. My full name is Licenciatura. I live
Okay, I
in
cannot I
Canada.
cannot hear you well enough. I think that you have a lot of interference. So if you can go to another place, or if you can disconnect yourself and then reconnect for us to have a clearer audio, please, because I don't know. We have interference.
Okay, I'm gonna
Ah,
leave
yes,
and
that's right. Mhm.
oh,
No, no,
okay.
no,
Maybe
that's all
I
right.
was not talking loud enough. Um,
Okay, hear me.
okay, my full name is Junuen Teco Corso.
Mhm,
I'm living in Canada. I am 19 years old. This is my first career,
mhm.
and something that I want to share with the class is that I want a spring soon because I'm tired of the big sweaters and I want to wear something lighter.
Later, okay. What would you like to do after finishing this career? Which is your goal by studying this career?
My goal is to improve my English
Mm-hmm.
because I'm living in Canada, I need to speak English. So
Yes.
I enter here to improve it and can communicate with the people outside.
Okay, so that's your goal.
Yes,
Okay, thank you, Yunan. Thank you very much. Okay, we were only
you're welcome.
four people. It's okay, don't worry. Damaris, can you please introduce yourself? Or are you ready to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi,
Okay,
my
help me.
name is Brenda Damaris. I'm from Puebla City.
Mm-hmm.
I am 22 years old, and this is my first career. And something I want to share with the class, I love my cats, and they always take class with me.
Okay. How many cats do you have?
I have two cats.
Two cats, okay.
Yeah.
Which are their names?
Leo and Duco.
Okay, they have beautiful names. Which is your goal when you finish in the course or your major in this case? What do you want to do
Mm,
after finishing your career?
ay, be less embarrassed when I speaking.
Ah, okay. You want to get confident when you speak, when you use English,
When I
right?
speak.
Okay. You, what do you think about your writing? Do you write well in English?
Mm, yeah.
Okay. Okay, don't worry. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, well, this is just for you to know each other a little bit. I think that in this media or by this modality of studying, is difficult for us to know each other better. It's okay. We only have 1 month and a half, so don't worry about it. It's normal. So let's start. Well, today's activity. As I told you before, in the first class, I liked to talk about strategies for self-learning because I think it's important for us to know or to be aware of the things that we can do to improve our English, especially when we are in an online career, because it's difficult, you know. You are going to know that you are going to notice that because Cambridge platform is a thought for you to gain not exactly grammatical information, because some of the exercises are thought for you to practice with speaking, for you to practice with writing, for you to gain vocabulary and everything, the basis for the level that you are working for. But the reality is that for you to gain a better understanding of English and also for you to get better in English, you need to have extra activities and you need to think about some strategies for self-learning that can help you to improve your English or any language that you want to learn by yourself, because this is important and this is a rule for every language. Even if you were in a normal a university, like a presence classes and anything like that, you need to work extra to gain to gain or to better your skills in English. Okay, so my first question, and you can answer in Spanish or in English, as I told you before. I prefer that by this moment you use English, but whichever language you want to use. First of all, why do you think it's important nowadays to learn a second language? ¿Por qué creen que es importante aprender una segunda lengua hoy en día? And as I was explaining to my students yesterday, you need to think that in this moment we have AI intelligence or artificial intelligence. And in this moment of the history of humanity, of the history of humanity, we are like, okay, probably to learn a second language is not as important as it was before, because we have applications that we can use to translate on time or in at the moment the communication between two persons, for example, or between two people. So why do you think nowadays is still important to learn a second language, even if that second language is English or is French or whatever? Why do you think it is important for us? Who wants to tell me something? Okay, Anna, help me.
Because I think that you have most jobs opportunities. I think so.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What else? More job opportunities. What else? Because language are alive and the translate is not, that's important. Translation is not accurate when it's translating. Okay. Mm-hmm. What else? Also, I was telling to my students yesterday that it's important to recognize that communication is more than just translate words, or more than just know the words, or more than just codificate a message. Okay, language implies a lot of things, and probably you have already known that because you have been in classes like semantics, pragmatics. You are going to study discourse analysis, morphology, syntax, etc. And you know the language is more than just codifying a message. Okay, communication is more than that. We have meanings. We have pragmatic meanings, which are social meanings, significados sociales. Okay, which are not embodied in the code, que no están, ¿cómo decir? Embodied is not an English word that has a specific translation in Spanish, porque sería como encarnadas, significados sociales que están encarnados, no están encarnados en el lenguaje, but in phrases, in specific uses of the language, in physical communication. So usually communication or to learn a second language is more than just know the code, okay? And my second question is, what is your primary motivation, or which one is your primary motivation for learning English? I know that you have already told me something about it, because you want to get confident or to gain confidence while speaking, because you want a better job, because you want, I don't know, to be better in English. But what is your primary motivation for learning English, or a general motivation? I mean, in the sense that when you are learning a language, it's a life path, okay? Es un camino de vida. We can say something like that. Because usually, for example, in my case, I have been studying, or I had been studying Arabic in my university years. But at this moment, I don't practice Arabic, so I'm forgetting the language. In this moment, I'm not following the path of Arabic learning, okay? Because I'm forgetting the language, because at this moment, I don't have time to dedicate, or I don't have, I can't dedicate time to continue studying Arabic. So what happened with English? I mean, are you committed yourself with the learning of English? And if you do, which is your primary motivation for learning that language? Dicho de otra manera, ¿cuál sería la motivación que los haría continuar aprendiendo inglés? Más allá de que están estudiando esto, más allá de que quieren un mejor trabajo, which is going to be the motivation that will keep you learning English?
In my case, communicate with others.
Okay. Okay, the communication with others. That's a good answer. Another one? In my case, because I use it in social media, I talk to many foreigners every day. That's a good goal, or a good motivation to learn English. Because of course, if you are in an environment in which you need to use English, you don't have any options, right? You need to learn English. Obviously, when you use the language for your work, also it's an important factor to keep learning the language. Okay, so I think you have good answers. On these questions are just to clarify, okay, which are the motivations or the factors that keep you in this class and that keep you in this career. Okay, just let me read the other comments. In my case, it's because I want to pursue another career and I need English as a requisite. Sometimes I use it here in Laredo by the American people that cross the border. Okay, well, again, environment or context is a good factor, or an important factor, because you are living in a context in which you need to use English because the other people is using English. Of course, you need to learn the language. Okay, that's important. Okay, the next activity, I don't know if we are going to have time because we only have 20 minutes. It's to watch a video in which they talk about, or this girl is talking about things that you need to do to improve your English every day. I think, because I have watched the video, that she gives important strategies, but not only strategies. She gives important ideas for improving our learning every day. But before we go there, because I would like to finish with that video, because if I'm not wrong, it lasts 20 minutes, and we don't have that time to finish the video and then talk about the other things. Let me just explain the next slides, and then we will return to the video at the end of the class. So let's see sorry, no, I don't want this. Okay, so first of all, do you have any questions until this point about the things that we have already talked about? Questions or doubts? Okay, so let's talk about next week activities before we go to the video. This I don't know, because I haven't worked on the units, so I don't know if they are larger than the previous courses or if they are the same of the previous units on the previous courses. So I don't know si son más, todavía no estoy seguro si son más largas o son las mismas. Okay, vale. They are the same. So the idea here is that for the first week, we need to work only in unit 1, which is and we are off. Remember that for each unit, usually you need to answer or to deliver 2 activities. The first activity is the general content activity, which is a student's course, unit 1, and we are off. Esta es la actividad de conocimientos generales, porque aquí ustedes obtienen como un panorama general de todo lo que tienen que trabajar en esta unidad 1, ¿vale? And the second activity is going to be the progress test, which is like an exam, okay? Es como un examen y es un progress test. In this case, you need to deliver unit 1 progress test. And for each of the activities, you will gain 0.80 points of the final score. So at the end of the week, you will receive, if everything is okay, 1.60 points of the final score. What does it mean? Remember, o recuerden, que en esta unidad solo pueden obtener 1.60 puntos del 10 final, ¿no? Conforme vayamos avanzando en las unidades, se le van a ir sumando puntos para conseguir ya sea 10, 9, 8, etc. Entonces tengan cuidado con esto. Ahorita voy a explicar un poco más esto detenidamente. So, for this week, for March 24th of this year, of course, you need to deliver Unit 1, both activities. The general activity, students course Unit 1 and we are off, and the progress test, which is Unit 1 progress test, okay? So you need to do that for this Monday. Important factors to take into account. First of all, units are larger than they seem to be. Remember, you need to dedicate some time to answer all the activities. Okay, so be careful with that. They seem like easy to do, but probably they are easy. But the thing is not that they are easy. The thing is that they need time to be answered. Okay, so be careful with that. Then, I don't have access to all your answers, and this is very important. First of all, as I told you before, or as I was telling you I was telling to Josue, I don't have access to the automatized part of the Cambridge platform, okay? All the exercises that are scoring automatically, I don't have any access to that. So the final scores goes directly from a Cambridge platform to Blackboard platform. So I don't have access to that answers. Then I also don't have access to the progress test. Ok, entonces no puedo hacer nada con relación al progress test. No tengo acceso a, ni siquiera para revisar cómo funciona el progress test. Yo no tengo acceso a eso. A lo único que tengo acceso, the only thing or the only part of the unit that I have access to is the number 1, students course unit 1, and we are off. And only for reviewing the contents. Ok, solamente tengo acceso para revisar los contenidos. Ni siquiera se me asigna una calificación ni nada. Solamente tengo acceso para revisar contenidos y en el progress test no tengo acceso a ninguno. ¿Vale? Entonces, all the activities, or practically 100% of the activities are reviewed automatically. Por eso decía aquí a Josué, ¿no? Si sacó, por ejemplo, dice ahorita, él sacó, ¿cuánto sacó? 7.9. A todas esas respuestas yo no tengo acceso, ¿vale? Si están bien, si están mal, si están bien calificadas, que usualmente sí, porque es Cambridge Platform, yo no tengo acceso a ninguna de esas respuestas. A las únicas respuestas que tengo acceso son a las que yo califico de manera manual, que usualmente son las actividades de speaking y las actividades de writing, ¿ok? Para que eso lo tengan muy en cuenta. Y si me van a preguntar algo con relación a una calificación, solamente puede ser específicamente sobre esas actividades. Las que se califican de manera automática, no tengo acceso a ellas, ¿vale? So, scores are generated automatically. And I'm saying this because usually the score that you have in Blackboard doesn't vary much when I finish reviewing the other activities. La calificación que ustedes tienen ahí no varía mucho con las calificaciones que yo hago manuales. A veces sí, ¿no? O sea, porque depende de cuánto puntaje le den dentro de las actividades, ¿vale? Pero de manera general, are those that are exactly are the ones that are at the end of the lessons. The writing or the speaking part of the activities. Y esas son las únicas a las que tengo acceso. Y sí me gusta ser muy específico con eso, porque a veces me dicen, es que pues, tengo muy baja calificación por esto y por aquello. No tengo acceso a eso. ¿Sí? Eso lo califica la plataforma de manera automática. Yo solamente evalúo las partes del writing y las partes de speaking. Lo demás, todo lo hace la plataforma, ¿vale? Para que eso sí quede muy claro. Entonces, les decía, como las calificaciones son generadas automáticamente, no varía mucho lo que yo puedo añadir, porque les digo, solamente tengo acceso a 2 actividades. Entonces, a veces sí varía un punto, punto y medio, pero usualmente la calificación que ustedes van obteniendo es muy parecida a la que van a obtener al final, ¿sí? O sea, sí va a haber variación, pero prácticamente va a ser muy parecida. The fourth point, you must have activated Canvas platform from Blackboard. And I was telling you this in the previous class. Remember that you need to connect Blackboard to the Canvas platform. At this moment, I think that any of you has any problem with this part of the explanation, because I haven't received any message telling me that you have a problem with scoring or something like that. So I think that for this at this point, everything it's okay. But if not, remember that if you have problems with connecting by connecting the platforms, in this case, I cannot do anything about that. Okay, no puedo hacer nada porque esto ya está fuera de mis manos. This is an issue which I don't have the answer, for example. Okay, because in this case, you need to send the ticket to the personas correspondientes a las que les tengan que mandar el ticket, and then they will answer to your doubts if they have the answer. So in this case, for example, if you forgot or if you didn't connect both platforms correctly, I don't have an answer there. Having done the activities doesn't guarantee a total score, and this is very important for you to understand. Hacer las actividades no asegura que ustedes tengan el 1.6. ¿A qué me refiero? Si ustedes en el Student Scores a lo mejor obtienen todas buenas, les van a dar el punto 80. Pero si en el Progress Test a lo mejor de las 10 preguntas obtienen solamente 8 preguntas buenas, entonces les va a dar a lo mejor un punto 70. Aquí estoy haciendo un cálculo rápido, ni siquiera es lo real, ¿no? O sea, eso ya lo hace la máquina de manera automática. Entonces, si da 8 más 0.7, va a dar solamente 1.5, ¿vale? Para que esto también lo tengan muy presente. El solo hecho de hacer las actividades no asegura el 1.60, sino que lo va a asegurar es que obtengan todos los ejercicios bien, ¿sí? Eso es lo que realmente asegura que tengamos al final en 1.60 de la calificación total, ¿vale? So, that's very important for us to remember. Let's do the summing up. Could you do a summary about the activities you must do for next week? Juan, can you help us? Could you do a summary about the activities you must do for next week?
Sure, we just need to do the Unit 1 and the progress test.
Exactly. For which is the due date for those activities?
Well, Monday at 3 a.m., but
At 3 a.m. Mhm.
it's better to do it on Sunday.
Exactly. For we be relaxed on Monday. Okay, so that's right. So la unidad uno para el lunes solamente pues la unidad uno que serían las dos actividades, el contenido general y el progress test, ¿vale? Okay, let me just go to the next slide, which is this one. Any questions about the activities that we need to for Monday?
No, teacher.
No, okay, no questions. Okay, we have here an academic integrity slide. We're not gonna stop here because I think we need to go to the video because I want to uh, we're not gonna finish the video today, so probably we will watch only half of the video, and then in the next class we will continue watching the rest of the explanation, because I really think that it's important for us to have this in mind. Strategies to improve our English besides the things that you do in a course like that. So let me just share with you the screen, and then we will watch the first part of the video until 8 o'clock. And we will discuss, of course, the ideas that she gave during the video in next class on Friday. Okay. Let me just share with you the
para los Estados Unidos y es profesional en las áreas de ciencia, tecnología, ingeniería.
Before I share these 4 things that you should be doing every day, we're going to...
Okay, can you hear the video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start. Let me
going to talk about 4 things that you can do every day to improve your English. I think we can all agree that learning English, or learning any language, takes time and effort and dedication. But the most successful language learners, they find a way for their language to become a part of their daily life. It just becomes a habit, like brushing your teeth. If you want to improve, your English practice should become a daily habit. To help you with this, I'm going to share 4 things that you can and you should be doing every day to improve your English. And yes, I am suggesting that you do all 4 things every day, but they're not huge tasks. And we're going to talk about how you can make them a bit of fun too. So come check it out. Before I share these 4 things that you should be doing every day, so the very first thing on my list is pronunciation. Yes, you should be practicing your pronunciation every day. And it's not to try and get rid of your accent, but to make it clear enough that others can comfortably understand you when you speak. I can't tell you the number of advanced English students I've had who've had amazing grammar and vocabulary skills, but so much trouble communicating because their accent makes it quite challenging for others to understand them. So of course, all of this affects smooth, positive, comfortable conversation. And depending on where you learned English, your teacher may not have focused on pronunciation. It may not have been the priority at the time. You see, if you learned English at school, your teacher's main aim was probably to get you high marks in your exam. Pronunciation was probably not their focus at that time. But in the real world, when you're using English to speak with other people, your pronunciation, your fluency when you speak, it's so incredibly important. Get into the habit of learning and using the correct pronunciation today, because it's going to save you lots of headaches and confusion down the track. Plus, practicing your pronunciation every day consistently, it's going to help you to make noticeable improvements in a short space of time. So how can you start doing this? I recommend that you learn the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet. If you've never heard of it before, or you don't know a lot about it, then watch this lesson up here. But learning the IPA will allow you to correctly pronounce every single English word using the correct English sounds. Another great way to practice your pronunciation is with my imitation lessons. So in these lessons, I help you to copy me and shadow me as I speak. They're really awesome, quick 10-minute videos that you can practice with regularly. So add them to a playlist and keep coming back to them and practice with them often. After you've practiced a lesson for a few times, make a recording of yourself and compare it to my voice. Try to identify some of the mistakes that you're making with your pronunciation. I've added a link to my imitation lessons in the description, and I'll add one at the end of this video as well that you can check out. You can also simply read out loud to improve your pronunciation. Doing this every day will help your mouth muscles to get working and creating English sounds and get more comfortable doing it. It's as simple as that, and it doesn't need to take you long. Just 5 or 10 minutes a day is plenty. Just make sure you're doing it consistently. You could even do it by singing English songs.
Okay, I will stop the video there because I think it's important for us to comment just the pronunciation part, okay? As I like to tell to my students for these courses, we don't have enough time to do all these activities. So that's why I usually recommend to my students to do that in his free time or in their free time in their normal or daily routine, as she said before. Okay. So first of all, she talked about a international phonetic alphabet, which I think is not new for you because you had been in a phonetic and phonology subject. So I know or I think that you already know what is AIPA or en español, Alfabético Fonético Internacional. So I don't think you have a problem with that. But if you do, I recommend that you search for the importance of know the phonetic or the phonetic symbols or the phonetic alphabet of English. It's important. Then she talked about imitation lessons, which is not exactly just lessons. I mean, you can just practice imitation with songs, as she said before. When you are singing an English song, you are imitating the voice of the singer, but not only the voice, but the pronunciation, because you need to pronounce the words correctly in order to go with the speed of the normal speech of the singer, for example. So imitation is good for pronunciation skill. Another thing that I liked is record yourself. It's another advice. She didn't point it out as a main point, but I think it's important for us to record ourselves while speaking because it's the only way in which we can monitor it, the way in which we are using the language. It's difficult at first, and it's difficult in every sense because we don't have enough time to do all of these activities. But some of them you can do. Okay, record yourself while speaking English, so you can identify the errors, you can identify words that you don't know, because when it happens to me sometimes, well, a lot of times in reality, when you are thinking in a structure or in a phrase that you want to say in English, you don't remember the words. So you need to search for another strategy to say the same thing. Okay, but the idea by recording yourself is that you notice the words that you don't know, and you can search the words in the dictionary or just in a browser, so you can gain vocabulary and you can be aware of the things that you, at this moment of your learning path, you don't know how to say. Okay, so that's why it's important to record yourself, so you can watch or you can see I don't know the word in Spanish, but in English, sorry, but las áreas de oportunidad that you have in your English speaking skill. Then another thing that I really recommend for you to do, which I do with my other courses, or in my other courses in which I have 5 hours in the week, or just have 2 hours per day in teaching the language, read out loud. It's a very good exercise for you to teach your muscles how to articulate the sounds of English. ¿Ok? Esto de la lectura en voz alta ayuda mucho a eso, porque están enfocados en la lectura. Obviously, you need to search for the pronunciation of the words that you don't know. That's why at the beginning, this exercise is kind of slowly, or it's kind of slow, okay? Because you need to search for the pronunciation of the single words, and that's not easy, because you need to stop in each word in order to go to the dictionary and to search for the pronunciation. Es por eso que este ejercicio al principio suele ser muy lento, porque tenemos que ir al diccionario o a las páginas convenientes para buscar cómo se pronuncia la palabra, y tenemos que practicarla en la lectura, ¿vale? La lectura en voz alta es uno de los ejercicios más, de los ejercicios que más yo recomendaría para mejorar con la pronunciación. El iPad es importante, sí, y porque nos ayuda a entender lo que dicen los diccionarios, pero si hay un lugar en el que podemos ganar fluidez, es leyendo en voz alta, porque tenemos lengua de origen, un texto escrito originalmente en inglés, que nos fuerza, o que nos forza, más bien en español, que nos forza a leer adecuadamente las palabras que tenemos, a encadenar las palabras que tenemos enfrente en el texto, ¿vale? Es por eso que es uno de los ejercicios que yo más recomendaría. But, just for the pronunciation, we have 4 strategies to improve that skill, okay? So, our time is over. I don't know if you have any questions, any doubts. Next Friday, we will continue watching the video so we can finish, or we can review all the strategies that she proposes in this lesson, or in this lesson about how to improve your English skills. So questions, doubts, or anything you want to share to the group? No one? Okay, then if you don't have any questions, then we will see us next Friday. And remember that for Monday, you need to complete the Unit 1, okay? And each of the 2 activities associated with Unit 1. So thank you very much. Let me just turn on my camera so we can say goodbye. Bye-bye. Be careful. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend. Have a nice day.
Thank you, teacher. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Have a good night.